Morning all. All right, so we just have the one game in the NHL tonight between the Winnipeg Jets and the Montreal Canadiens. I'm wearing a jersey that I actually got from the True North shop, which is the Winnipeg Jets online store. So they had this on clearance, and I was like, yeah, I could go with the St. John's Ice Caps. I have family in Newfoundland, so sure. So the Winnipeg Jets, Montreal Canadiens. I'm wearing a Winnipeg affiliated jersey because they kind of have to win this, right? This starts at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. It's the only game tonight. So for Winnipeg, they're 34, 28, and 11. They won this matchup March 1st by a score of 8-4. That, of course, was in Winnipeg. We'll see how they do in Montreal. Goals for and against. Winnipeg is scoring 3.07 goals per game. They're allowing 3.10. So 16th in goals for per game, 19th in goals against. Last 10 games, they're 5-4-1. Of course, they won last night. They have 9 games remaining. They are 7 points behind the Dallas Stars. And tonight they will be without Mark Scheifele. So that is a huge loss for the Winnipeg Jets. Scheifele's been fantastic. That hurts, especially when their odds of making the playoffs are still not great. So Montreal, 20, 41, and 11. Their goal scoring per game, 2.60, which is 29th overall in the league. 3.79 goals against, which is 31st. Montembeault will be starting as Jake Allen got hurt their last game out. Their last 10 games, they're 3-5-2. They lost their last game in regulation against Toronto. 10 games remaining, and they're only 39 points out of the playoffs. 39 points behind Washington. My math says it's hard to get 39 points in 10 games, but gotta believe in miracles. All right, so let me know who you think wins that game in the comment section below. And because it's a one-game night, why not have some fun and look at if the playoffs started today? And with me acknowledging, I think Vegas still gets in there ahead of Dallas, but we'll see. Dallas did come through with a victory last night. That was against Chicago, so you got to temper those moments of, hey, this looks pretty good. So Florida would play Washington in the first round, which I think would be a very entertaining series. I don't know. I think that there will be people taking Washington in that series. I think Florida wins it, probably in 6. And don't hold me to this, because once we get to playoff time, my predictions absolutely could change. Carolina against Boston. Carolina should win that series. For the Boston Bruins this year, it's been a fun year, but I think over a 7-game series against Carolina, this time around, the Canes should win it. Toronto and Tampa Bay. I don't even want to hazard a guess on this one, but sure. I would say that Tampa, still over a 7-game series, would find a way to pull it out. That being said, I hope I'm wrong, because the Toronto narrative of they can't win a round gets old for me at times. And I say that as a Boston fan, where I'm like, it would be nice to see Toronto win a round, see what they can do if they get some momentum in the playoffs. So that'll be a very entertaining series. The New York Rangers, Pittsburgh Penguins. We know these teams hate each other. That's really important for a good playoff series. I think the Rangers would probably win that, and I say it because if you have Shesterkin versus Jari, I think Shesterkin wins 4 out of 7 in that. Then out west, you'd have Colorado against Dallas. Of course, we saw this matchup in 2020. Dallas upset Colorado. I don't think that would happen this time. I think Colorado would take out Dallas. I think it would probably be a pretty hard-fought series, but I think Colorado would win it. Calgary against Nashville. That'd be an entertaining series. I think we'd have occasional games in that series where it's a really tight, low-scoring affair, and others where it could be just crazy. I think Calgary should win that, but Nashville could be an absolute sleeper in the West. Minnesota and St. Louis, that'd be a lot of fun. I do think St. Louis probably wins that series if that's what we see. But again, we'll see where they're at in a few weeks and whether or not my opinion might have changed at that point. And then the Edmonton Oilers and the LA Kings. I think it's more important for Edmonton to win a series than it is for LA at this stage. I think for LA, just making the playoffs would be huge. Now, of course, LA's been on a bit of a slide lately, so they've got to get that together, because Vegas could end up, instead of replacing Dallas, end up replacing LA and knock them out of third place. So we'll see how that turns out, but I think if those teams end up meeting each other in the playoffs, I like Edmonton's chances in that. Although Jonathan Quick against Koskinen or Smith, I would take Quick in the playoff series. Could be close. So yeah, let me know in the comment section who you think would win each of those series. So Evgeny Malkin will have a hearing for an incident that took place at the end of the second period last night with Mark Borowiecki. It was a cross-check. The interesting thing is, at the time, it was called a 4-minute high stick. So, I mean, they called the wrong penalty on the play, and if it was bad enough to be a 4-minute for a high stick, if they'd called it as a cross-check, it probably would have been a 5 in a game. So, he's going to get suspended. And so we'll see whether it's a 1-game, a 2-game, or how far it goes. Borowiecki was hurt on the play, so it's possible it could be a couple of games. But remember, the last time that Malkin was suspended for that wild stick swing, well, it didn't connect, so it wasn't as big of a deal. So we'll see. Malkin does have a temper. We know that there are going to be times where he crosses the line. This is one of those times. It comes with the territory with the way he plays. Pittsburgh does have a couple of guys that have tended to do that at times. Malkin and Letang come to mind as two guys who've done that over their careers at times. So I guess you guys can let me know in the comment section below what you think he gets, but we'll know by the end of the day what the suspension's going to be. The Anaheim Ducks, with yesterday's result, officially eliminated from the playoffs. What's interesting with the Ducks is they absolutely crashed after the All-Star break. They were on the verge of maybe staying in that conversation for a wild card spot. But 4-14-3 in the 21 games after the All-Star break. And Gibson, it's been alarming to me watching John Gibson, and he just hasn't looked like himself. 2-14-2 with an .868 save percentage since the All-Star game that he was at. So Gibson's play has not been great. I think Stolarz has actually outperformed him since the All-Star break. His save percentage has been below 913 of his 18 starts. And the play has been to the level where it feels like maybe there's a nagging injury there. Maybe there's something going on that's just not being addressed. But yeah, Anaheim's play since the trade deadline, or since the All-Star break, I should say, has been bad. And then, of course, the trade deadline where they sold guys off just made that even worse. So, that being said, let me know your thoughts. Go ahead and predict how many games Malkin gets, whether it's 1, whether it's 5, whether it's 40. I mean, it's not going to be 40, but by all means, go for it. Make that prediction. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, you just happen upon this video. Glad I got another St. John's jersey. I have some St. John's jerseys. I've also informed my wife that means we have to take a trip to St. John's. We also have to go to Iowa. I have a lot of Iowa jerseys. So, yeah. Thank you guys again for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.